So good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to this long anticipated career advancement webinar. In the next 90 minutes, I'm going to be sharing some nuggets, some insider secrets for career advancement in the corporate world. My name is Margaret Ifoma Omobude, and I'm your workplace mentor. Now, tonight, what are we going to be learning? One, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself so that you have some idea about who I am and why I do what I do. I will talk about the objectives of tonight's presentation. I will talk about major employee pain points. We're all corporate workers. I'm sure when I share them, you'll be nodding and saying, oh, yes, I've experienced that before too. Then I'm going to share 5 truth bombs about why your 9 to 5 or your corporate job is enough. And you don't need to start a side hustle if you don't want to. Then we'll be talking about 15 or more, actually more, career advancement strategies for you to master. And then before we go, I will teach you how you can dominate at your workplace in 2024. The information I'll be sharing with you in the next 90 minutes or thereabout is intended for participants only, participants at this webinar. And it is based on the research, the experience, and the opinion of myself, the workplace mentor. You're the one who would hear all the anecdotes I will share. You're the one who would understand the context in which I share it. So I want to make it clear that if you then decide to share it with somebody else who didn't attend this webinar, they may take it out of context. And if they implement what you say without understanding the full context, the workplace mentor is not liable. The second disclaimer I would like to share is that participants are fully responsible for all related actions. So we're going to be sharing some strategies and some tools for success in the workplace, and I'm sure a lot of us will want to practice it. But please note that all participants here are adjudged to be adults and are judged to be competent enough to analyze and share the strategies to their peculiar work situations. And they are also fully responsible for the outcome of such decisions. How you use the information is fully your responsibility. And then the third thing is that organizations are fully responsible for making all promotion-related decisions. So the workplace mentor's opinions and strategies are based on general working principles. They are not based on your own particular organizations. Organizations are as diverse as you can find it. What works in organization A does not necessarily work in organization B. So therefore, if the workplace mentor shares some strategies tonight and you try it and it doesn't work in your organization, it does not invalidate what I said. It simply means that all promotion or advancement decisions are the full responsibility of your workplace leaders, not the workplace mentor. As whatever we learn here, we are to adapt it, not take it verbatim, so that at the end of the day, we are getting the value that we want from it and not causing problems for ourselves. So, who is this workplace mentor? I am somebody who has thoroughly benefited from career mentorship. Now, how did that happen? From the time I was just 18 years old and about to enter into the university, I had an uncle who at that time worked as an executive in one of the then big banks. This is way back in the 90s. He was an executive director in one of the banks. And he sold the idea of corporate work life to me very early. Every time we went visiting, he would tell me, oh, Ifoma, in fact, you have to, you know, the way these young boys and girls, they wear their suits, they put on their shoes, they come to us as executives, and they will just be making presentations, telling us this is how we should do it. I just look at them with admiration. Some of us are here, we've been working for 40 years, and these young boys and girls from consulting firms with 5, 6, 7 years experience will just come and be showing us things that we've never heard about before. And he told me then that, in fact, it's not only that I should get a corporate job, I must get to one of the big fours. Now, the big fours are the big four international consulting firms, which at that time was Arthur Andersen, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ernst & Young, and Deloitte and Touche. So from the moment I entered the university, I knew I was going to pursue a career in HR and people development. And from the moment I got into the university, I started writing my CIPM exams. I think I was the only person in my first year who knew that I was going to become an HR manager when I finished from school. And so I started writing CIPM. For those who don't know, CIPM is the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. That's the chartered body that regulates HR profession in Nigeria. And I started writing that in my second year, and I was done by my final year. So when it was time to do NYSC, my uncle showed up again. I found somebody who was an alumnus of one of the big four at that time. And my uncle convinced him that I was the best thing since sliced bread, that I had been preparing for HR all my educational life, and that if he missed me, that he was going to be missing a really big thing. The man was so convinced, he called me to come for an interview. And right from camp, I already got a job to be an HR consultant in that firm. And I want to say, for those of us who maybe have worked or are working in small firms, you know, when you work in a small firm, you get big tasks. So things that you would not normally do if you worked in a big firm, you get to do in a small firm. And I spent the first 2 years of my working life in that organization. And so I did a lot of things across the HR value chain. By the time I was 24, after spending 2 years in this firm, I was able to get into PricewaterhouseCoopers. I submitted my application. I went for the interviews. I think I must have wowed them at the interviews because I was speaking like somebody who had worked 4 or 5 years in HR. So much so that when I came into PwC, I didn't come in at the base level. I actually came in at a level higher than the base level because the things I had done and the way I was expressing myself was so impressive to the HR director at that time that he promoted me even before I came in. And that was how I got into PricewaterhouseCoopers. And I was able to work with several multinationals across several industries. I traveled the world, I learned structure and systems, and I met several industry giants. So that opened up a vista to me because I was able to work within many organizations, small, big. I was able to work directly with systems and structures, and I was growing the right. And then at 25, I got married. So I stayed in PwC for 8 years. And after that, I wanted to make a career. I felt I had learned enough as an HR consultant. I wanted to go into the industry and practice. You know, the thing about consulting is that you keep going there and telling them what to do, but you don't stay long enough to implement it. And sometimes recommendations you give them die there because they don't do anything about it. You know, so I was tired of always recommending and never getting to implement. So I made a career move to practice. I chose a small company because I wanted a company where my voice would count. I wanted a company where what I would recommend would not have too many hierarchies vetting it. And so I chose a small, mid-sized oil and gas servicing firm. And I went in there as a head of business support services. I was essentially in charge of all the back office departments, overseeing accounts, corporate services, facilities, admin, HR, branding, IT, to make sure that they served the front office, that's those who face the client, properly. So I was able to implement a lot of things because they didn't have our policies and procedures document, admin policy document, authority frameworks, all those things I had learned, SOPs, proper organizational structure, job profiles, compensation and reward system. I was able to set up all those things and I was really happy. And so after that, I did that for about 10 years. And then in 2021, I became the director of people and operations in that organization, where I'm now not only implementing, I'm formulating, and I'm also the change champions. So now I've become the leader of leaders. Last year, I said to myself, okay, so I've done really what I want to do within the corporate space. I would really like to impact more people. And because I find that even in my current organization, by the way, I am still very actively in service. I have not left my corporate job. On Monday, just as you wake up and brush your suit, I'll brush my own too. And off to work I go. So I'm still very actively involved in work. I don't plan to retire, but I find that I have a lot of mentees who keep coming to me for one thing or the other. And I find that things that I thought were normal or commonplace, maybe by virtue of the privilege I've had to work in many organizations and see many things, most people struggle with it. And when they do it, I'm a bit perplexed. Why can't she see that this is what is causing this? The passion kept turning inside of me that, look, you can actually impact more people. Give everyone the chance to benefit from your wealth of experience so that more people find it easier to navigate the corporate world. That the same way that you have benefited from career mentorship, I can also mentor strangers on a scale like this one by telling them tips, giving them tools, giving them strategies that will help them become better at their work. This year, I have decided to take the Workplace Mentor, that brand name, to the world by giving you career mentorship ideas, career mentorship strategies, career development, career transformation strategies that will help you become the go-to person in your organization, or at least make you feel more valued, make you get more rewarded, and help you to find some direction in your corporate world. What I'm going to be sharing with you will not be the regular you can find in books or on training programs. That's not my goal. I want to share with you people management strategy that will work across board for you. But I also need you to know that if you're looking for the certification, I've also got it. So by way of introduction, all the things I've listed here are things that I have done to better myself to be able to give you this kind of value. Like I said, I've worked 23 years now in HR consulting, people development, and I have diverse industry experience, 7 multinationals, independents, and local companies. I worked for 8 years with PwC as a people and change consultant. I spent 10 years as the head of HR business support services at Nexus. I'm currently the director of people and operations. I have my senior certified practitioner from the Society of Human Resource Management USA, the SHRM SCP. I'm a member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Nigeria. I'm a licensed human resource professional. I have degrees in sociology and psychology. I'm a certified recruiter and a personality profile assessor. I'm a facilitator and trainer, and I've done several local and international programs. I founded the Workplace Mentor, which is your career mentor and handholder. I'm also the founder of the Workplace Excellence Academy, which essentially will grow to become an online resource center for career professionals. I've been happily married to my husband, Charles, for 19 years. I'm a mother to 3 brilliant and well-adjusted children. I'm a Christian. I adhere firmly to kingdom principles, and I'm a teacher of the word. So that's who I am in a nutshell. And my mission simply tonight, and as the Workplace Mentor, is I want to become the insider's guide for corporate employees to allow them successfully navigate different workplace dynamics and come out happier, more valued, and better rewarded. That's why if you're not on my Telegram channel, Workplace Professionals, or one of WhatsApp groups, you're missing out. Why? Because I regularly share some tips and workplace secrets on there. Because on the Telegram one, I allow people to ask some personal workplace issues. So, and if I am available, I answer them. What are we going to learn tonight? First, I'm hoping that at the end of this presentation, I want you to believe that you can thrive with your 9-to-5 job, without necessarily starting a side hustle if you are not yet ready to. Now, I am not against side hustles. All through my career life, I did them. I owned a bridal shop, I owned a salon, I owned a gym, all while running my 9 to 5. And I can tell you for free that entrepreneurship is not a child's game. Don't believe everything you read on social media. People only show you the highlights of the entrepreneurship journey. Not many people tell you the downside and what they have to face to go through entrepreneurship. I have started over 7 different types of business in my 23-year career. And I tell you, each one gave me gray hair. Not that there wasn't money, but you will really work for that money. I said, I'm doing this 90-minute free webinar because, one, I need you to believe that you can thrive with your 9 to 5 without starting a side hustle if you are not ready to. I want to provide you with an insider's guide to help you break away from career stagnation, become more fearless, and ignite you to make your next career move. Many of us are stuck in our careers because we don't know the next thing to do. We are happy maybe with the money, but we're not fulfilled. Some of us are not even happy with the money, but we are still there. Why are we still there? So if all I'm able to get you to do tonight is to begin to think that I'm not a tree now. Why am I sitting down in this organization? I think I would have achieved my purpose for tonight. And then lastly, I want you to be able to still, that is, remember 5 of the workplace secrets I will share tonight that will help you become more recognized for advancement. Advancement in the organization can be anything from training opportunities, salary increases, new benefits, to actual promotions where you're moved from one level to the other. So those are the things I want to help us to achieve tonight. And God helping me, I'm sure we'll be able to. So what are some of the recurring employee complaints that we hear? If you talk to 3 employees, chances are each one has any one of these issues at work. First is issues relating to compensation and salary. So something like, my salary is not enough to meet my basic needs. We will hear that. My take-home pay is not commensurate with the workload or responsibilities that I have. If I'm calling your own, just be saying, yes, 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 that's my own. Or my company does not pay a competitive salary in the industry. Or maybe my salaries are not paid on time. What about those of you that they take your pension, but they don't remit it? Different issues around salaries and compensation. Then the next one is the issue of direct leadership. So you hear things like, oh, my boss is afraid to let anyone shine. He thinks I want to take his job. Oh, my boss harasses me at work. If I pass, he'll be saying, fine girl, this your cloth is fine today. You know, uncomfortable compliments. Or my boss micromanages me. He will tell me to do something. Yes, he's standing over my head as if I don't know what to do. It's so annoying. Or my boss hates me. She only favors some particular colleagues. Or my manager keeps complaining about my work output, but never gives me direction, guidance, or feedback. So, or we talk about the workplace culture, where people are complaining about there's no training to become better at work. My office does not objectively recognize good work. You will work, nothing. You will not get anything out of it. So only those who are familiar with management get promoted, and we'll still come to that. Or policy guidelines are not followed. The handbook is saying one thing. The employer is doing another thing. My employer runs the office like his personal space. Do you work with employers that their wives come in and send staff to go and buy food at the junction? There are people who experience that too. I had a colleague who left an organization because the owner's wife will come in from time to time and take anointing oil and start putting it all around the office when all of them are sitting down. Apparently, she has visions and she believes that there's some evil people around her husband. So regularly she will come to the office and the only thing she won't do is to put it on their heads by herself. And he said the workspace was so uncomfortable that he had. So some of us work with those boundaryless organizations. And the question will be, what are we still doing there? Or personal overwhelm for the 4th one. Also, you hear things like, I feel stuck at my job, no promotion for the last 5 years. Oh, I do my job well, but everybody else is getting promoted or salary raises and not me. Oh, I feel overwhelmed at work. It's as if I don't know enough. So imposter syndrome. You know the job, but you're afraid to do the job. Or I want to be recognized as a high performer in this organization, but I don't know how to. Or I've just got a new job and I feel lost and incompetent. Workplace mentor, help me. Or it is something around team orientation. So you have people saying, my colleagues are envious of me at work because I perform better. That is a real reality. Workplace competition is real. And if you are there working naively all over, thinking that everybody is in love with you because you are doing a good job, you are deceiving yourself. My subordinates don't respect me as their supervisor. Some of my colleagues are lazy. They leave the whole workload to me. You have that too in organization. There are some cunning colleagues like this. They'll tell 3 of you to do something. While you are still wondering how are we going to get it done, she has carried a bag and she has gone. And you just wonder. And when it's time to share the benefits, she's the first person in line as if she did the whole work. People also work with people like this. And then I have people complaining about their team members who seem to be avoiding them. I'm always last to know what is going on. I had a friend of mine who worked in an organization where her colleagues were so envious of her that they didn't, because she had just joined the organization, they neglected to tell her that it was the MD's birthday, and all of them banded together, got gifts for the MD. And on the day they were going to present it, they told her to come along. And she didn't know what was going on. And while they stood in front of the man, all of them started bringing out gifts one by one, making sure that she was the only one that did not bring anything to the man. And it was so obvious. And the man was wondering, like, why would this girl be? And she was so embarrassed. I'm saying people can do all sorts of things. You really don't understand anyone's background in the workplace. And so because the office constrains us to act in a certain manner, sometimes we tend to think everybody is who you see them as at work. It's not true. When some things happen, you can really see how base people can be. So you need to be careful. Before we even go to talking about what is so great about 9 to 5 and all that, most entrepreneurs, apologies again for using them, most entrepreneurs have used the 9 to 5 corporate job as their base marketing scheme. So if you look at some of these flyers, you hear things like, if you don't build your dream, somebody else will hire you to build it. Before, uncle, you that you're an entrepreneur, are you not hiring somebody to help you build your dream? So if you don't sit down and think about these things carefully, it sounds like it makes sense, but it really doesn't. If you're starting out in the corporate world, of course, you are going to be building somebody else's dream. You don't even know what your own dream is yet. You don't have enough skills to build anything. So why would you not help somebody to build their own and in the process learn? Do you see it? But most of you will just read this statement and say, hey, it's true. Oh, my guy is just using my brain. How can you think like that? If they gave you your guy's job today, can you do it? So you hear things like your salary is the bribe they give you to forget your dreams. And some of you say, it's true. Oh, it's golden handcuff. They don't want me to succeed. Which which bribe did they give you to forget your dream? Okay, they're not giving you the salary again. Which dream have you fulfilled since they stopped giving you the salary? Which salary are they giving you to forget your dreams? Is it not the salary that most people use to build their dreams? This thing I'm doing today, is it not my salary that is helping me to pay the IT and who are at the back end, the developers who are at the front end? You know, am I paying them from what Workplace Mentor is giving me? Is it not my salary that is helping me to build my dream? So when you just take these things, at face value, you will think you are missing out and your entrepreneurial friends are doing something fantastic. It's not always true. So many of us have subliminally imbibed this mindset, and we're now facing our corporate jobs like it is a stepping stone rather than a vocation where you can properly learn and grow to become relevant in our fields. We ignore our skill set and we start chasing after entrepreneurship millionaire dream that we don't have skills for, we don't have motivation for, we don't have the attitude for, without being prepared. I've had a good run of corporate life. Everything, it was like I was just climbing the ladder, one after the other, one after the other. Were there horrible times? Of course, you will come across horrible people. You will make mistakes while growing. But doesn't that happen in entrepreneurship too? Which vocation is devoid of mistakes and failures? So why is your own so out of the world that everybody makes us think as if, oh, it's a rat race, it's a rat trap? Oh, wake up at now. I have all my time to myself. I can't wake up at 7 and be running to one office. What they forget to tell you is that while you are coming back at 4, 5, 6 o'clock, they are still on Instagram carrying their market, dancing up and down for somebody to buy. They're not telling you that they have not sold anything that day and there's nothing at home to eat. Meanwhile, you've already planned your salary. You know when it's coming. You're like, okay, let me just manage myself to the end of the month. I know that however small, it will come and you can plan for it. Is it not true? So why would you then think that what you've got is not good enough? All right, if you leave me on this topic, we will not move today. We still have 67 slides to go. Let's go. What is so great about this corporate employment? Let me just rouse you up a bit now. Let's enjoy this, our work now. One is structure and stability. You have defined work hours for the most case. Now, the truth of the matter is that anytime I see young graduates, I always advise them to start in paid employment. I never advise a young graduate to immediately go and start working for themselves. You see, the truth is that you have not developed systems or structures. And systems and structures are things that will make you successful in any sphere that you find yourself working in. So if you don't develop those systems and structures that help you become excellent at what you do, then whether it's entrepreneurship you want to start or corporate employment, the person will fail. But the beauty is that when you work in corporate employment, those systems and structures are built into your learning profile. But when you work for yourself as an entrepreneur, you have to find those systems and structures yourself. I'll give you an example. I attended a webinar. Somebody had done a course and I paid for it. And it was about getting work on, I think, Upwork and all these freelance sites. And I really wanted to know more about it so that I could infuse it into teaching my career people about freelancing their careers too. We'll talk about that in later slides. And while he was making the presentation, his phone rang. Of course, his face was visible. Without so much as an excuse me, he just picked up the phone and was speaking to the person. Hello. I'm in a meeting. I'll call you back. I'm in a meeting. I'll call you back. Then he put down the phone and then said, oh, sorry, guys. And then continued. I just shut down the and said, okay, my money that I paid is wasted. It's okay like that. I knew I could not learn from someone so undisciplined. How can you plan a meeting and you take a call within the meeting when people came live to listen to you and you take a call in the middle of the meeting? Do you see how undisciplined and unstructured that person is? But when we hear about him now, he will say he has made 10 million. But I couldn't listen to him anymore because I was like, my God, this is a total disrespect of my time. When we came here, thanks to Chinyere and I think Afi, they came in before 8 o'clock. I used them as test case. I said, please let me know if you can hear me. They were telling me that, oh, the chat is disabled, blah, blah, blah. We fixed all those things before 8 because I knew that the people coming here are not silly people. They have things to do. They don't want to give me 2 hours of their time if they're not going to get value. They'll just keep logging off when they have more important things to do. So I made sure those problems were solved before we started. We solved it. And at 8:01, I came up and I spoke immediately and told us, please, let's give 3 more minutes for people to come in. That's how you treat people's valuable time. I learned this because I worked in corporate for a very long time. So structure and stability. Second thing is consistent pay that rises over time. Consistent pay that increases over time. Look, my dear corporate professionals, consistency beats intensity every time. Somebody with a regular 300K salary is doing better than somebody who gets 1 million in sales in something every once in a while because you can plan with it. We know ourselves now. We know which salary we plan for rent. We know which one goes for school fees. Okay, the bonus in February, that will pay for school fees. The leave allowance in September. If I'm speaking your language, let me hear 444 in the chat box. Leave allowance in September. That's the one for house rent. And this, we can structure, we can plan. Many of us bought cars or something because we're able to get loans from the bank, because the bank will give us loans because they know we have a regular salary. How many entrepreneurs can get loans from banks? Do you see it? So you can plan vacations. You can also expect increases from time to time. A lot of organizations, once the fuel price hike happened last June, most organizations began to, oh, what do we do? What do we do? We need to do so. And a lot of people got salary increases because the organization took into consideration that transportation would have increased, buying fuel into cars would have increased. A lot of companies started doing remote work to make sure that their staff don't come to the office too often. That only happened in corporate. If you listen to entrepreneurs, most of their complaints were things had gotten a lot higher, they had to increase prices, and they were getting less patronage. So do you see it? Whilst we were leaving it to our bosses to say, if you don't increase the salary, we won't show a bit, will I trek to the office? And we expected them to do something about it. Do you see it? So we can expect increases. What about access to structured building? Yeah, Kachi, I'm going to come to that. What about access to structured wealth building? Consistent pay allows you access to mortgages. There are many of us who have reached certain heights in our corporate life that the houses that we are living in, we were able to access corporate mortgages to buy them. And we're paying off over a 10, 15-year period. And we're living okay. You are able to take some money to do investments, you are able to take bank loans and many other benefits that your secure pay acts as a collateral. Then your technical growth is defined. You have on-the-job training by your managers. Your personal development is faster because you do things like presentation. You do things like if you work in a structured organization, you learn how to use PowerPoint. You learn how to write emails. You learn how to talk to people because you work with leaders. You learn what to do and what not to do. You have mentors and there are structured training programs available. All of these things are not available on the other side unless you buy it yourself. Meanwhile, our organization sends us on training. Some of you work in great places. The trainings may even be abroad. And then you get your per diem in your pocket and you're just, cruising. And the fifth one, my personal favorite, we Kachi talked about. What about the fringe benefits? You see, because we are so used to them, we don't even know their benefits. You forget that for the past 15 years that you are working, you have not paid for HMO. You have not paid for any health issue. The day you don't have HMO and you have to pay 25,000 first consulting fee, this one, that one, how many corporate workers would have been able to give birth or pay for cesarean sections on their own, if not their HMO covered it? Please, again, don't misunderstand me. I am not saying entrepreneurship is bad. For those of us who were not here when I started, I, as a corporate worker, did entrepreneurship over the years. I'm not against it. I think if you can handle it, you can have your corporate job and you can have your side hustle. I'm just saying, don't let the fact that entrepreneurship looks better than your corporate job make you go into it unprepared. That's all I'm saying. Don't go into it unprepared because you think your corporate job is not worth pursuing. A lot of people have left good jobs to pursue entrepreneurship, not taking into cognizance that it takes a bit of time before you develop and begin to earn well from your side hustle. Do you see it? So let's get back on point. So fringe benefits could include things like health insurance, pension. Many of you have millions in your pension account. For those of us who have worked up to 20, 30 years, we have multiple millions. We have a lot of money inside pension account. What about those of you who get paid accommodation, official car, club membership? What about conferences and networking? What about retirement benefits, travels? The fringe benefits can be so good, especially if you're at a certain point in your life. I've never had to pay for health management ever in my life because I've always worked in corporate. And then my dad used to be a corporate worker. So even as a child, we had HMO. So we went to the clinic for free. So I've never had any reason to pay for health maintenance out of pocket. Do you see? So all of those just goes to show you that there's a large chunk that your corporate job is subsidizing for you, that because you're not seeing it physically, you don't even recognize it anymore as a benefit. So I'm here to remind you that these things count, and there are things that you should hold on to say, okay, maybe it's not so bad after all. Now, let me make a clarification. If you cannot relate to salary increases, technical growth, personal development, fringe benefits, it's not because it doesn't exist though. It means that the one that you are doing, there's something wrong with it. And hence how we are going to check very quickly. How do you know if your corporate job is all right? If the career trajectory you are on is okay? First, you can look at, there are different ways, but I would advise that you look at these 4 indices. 1, pay. 2, learning and development. 3, the work culture. And 4, work relationship. The first one is compensation. Is your pay adequate? What does adequate mean? As a young graduate or someone who's just worked 2 to 3 or 2 to 5 years, are you earning enough to cover your basic needs? So your transportation, your feeding, your rent, because when you're young, your value is limited. So you don't expect to earn millions when you are not offering the value of millions alongside. But when you're starting out, the job you have should be able to take care of basic needs. And when you've hit mid-level to manager level, what you're earning should be enough to meet all your obligations and give you room for some savings and investments. So if your answer to that is no, there's a problem. Then we move on to the next one. What about learning and development? Are you learning where you are? Are you growing new skills? Are you getting sent on training? Are you getting on-the-job mentorship? Do you have a leader or a boss who is teaching you things you did not know? If you look at what you knew last year to who you are now, can you really honestly say, I have improved? Are you getting cross-functional competence? That is, you're able to move from one department to the other, learning things. Maybe last year you were in front office. This year you're in back office. Last year you were in sales. This year you're in operations. Last year you're in front-end engineering. This year you are in design. Whatever. Are you able to get all of that learning for your next career growth stage? If the answer is no, there's a problem. What about the work culture? Where you work right now, is it a professional work environment? Or is your boss telling you to go and buy hot yam and boli at the junction every afternoon in your skirt suit? You now carry black nylon bag and buy some granules by the side, and you are calling yourself a corporate worker. No. Are people resigning en masse in your organization? Something is wrong. Or are you personally experiencing quiet firing? Quiet firing is that passive-aggressive nature of your boss, where your boss suddenly become hostile to you in a bid to force you to resign. Some people are that petty. They quietly fire you. They remove your benefits. They stop giving you work. The things that they'll give it to somebody else while you're there. They just want to frustrate you so that you are the one who resigns, so you don't get any back pay. That's usually why they do it. Because if they terminate you, they need to give you pay in lieu of notice or redundancy pay. But if you resign, it's your choice. You may even have to pay them. So, and there are ways to deal with quiet firing. They don't know that this year is no grief for anybody. That one is later, Sha. Anyway, or what about your work relationships? Are you enjoying a good rapport among your colleagues? Are you getting along with your boss or your leader? Are you getting along with your subordinates? So here's how you do the career health check. If 1 and 2, that's pay and learning and development, are no, please look no further. Get out now. You're wasting valuable time where you are. You can't stay at a place where you are neither earning well or learning anything. Hear me tonight. I'm your workplace mentor, and I'm here to make your career better. If you are working in an organization where you're not earning enough to take care of your basic needs and you're not learning anything in that place, your next career move is to leave. Now, if you are not earning well, but you are learning, don't leave. one is taking the place of the other. Because you are learning, you are gathering enough arsenal for you to get a better job somewhere else. So while you're keeping your eye out for a new job, you don't necessarily have to leave immediately if you are learning. Don't ever underrate the value of learning new skills because it helps you negotiate better at the next job opportunity. Don't rush out because you are not earning well and you have not learned any new skills. When you go to a new place, you can't negotiate. Do you see it? You can't negotiate like a boss because, I mean, what value are you really bringing to them? So if it's either or, you can still stay. Also, if your pay is great and they're not teaching you anything, my brother, my sister, use your money and buy the skills, but stay where the pay is okay. So if your pay is good, don't let me that I'm not really learning anything in that organization. Everything, my dear, calm down. Use your pay and buy new skills. Then if 3 and 4 are a no, start looking for a new job or you will experience workplace trauma, which will make you vulnerable in your next career. You see, if your pay is good and you are learning and earning, but the work culture is horrible, that is when you're going to work, your heart will be shaking. You know, you'll be having heart palpitations. And then the work relationships, you're not free with your colleague. Your boss doesn't like you. He's mistreating you. You're just in line for depression. The money will be there, but you find yourself unfulfilled, unhappy. So while you are still there, keep looking out for better opportunities. Then if your own 1 is no, 2 is no, 3 is no, 4 is no, you are not working. You are doing vocation. You are not working. You are simply giving your services for free. In your own case, your move is this month. Now, let's talk about a few career professionals who are making waves in our industry. So let's look at some career professionals. I'm sure we've all heard about Dupe Olushola. If not heard about her, please follow her on Instagram. She's the CEO of Transcorp Hotels, and she's been hailed as the first woman to head a ₦1 trillion company in Nigeria. I like her so much because when you see her, she looks smart, she's vivacious, she's speaking with all the top leaders across the world. She's obviously doing a good, fantastic job because she's moved Transcorp from a hotel to a mega million business. She's doing fantastic. So if there are career professionals like that, why do we think we also can make it in our own fields? Yeah, we will not all be CEO of Transcorp, but we can get to the top of our own career fields too if we plan the trajectory properly. What about Folake Shoeton, the CEO of Ikeja Electric? Look at her. She's young, she's in her 40s, and she's the CEO. The last post, I think the last post I watched, her and her staff, they played some game, some trending thing that was going on. She joined all her staff and they played that game on the internet. And I was like, wow, it would be such a great opportunity to work with somebody this free with her staff. Do you see? What about Taiwo Oyedele? Now, Taiwo Oyedele, I personally worked with at PwC. He was the former West African tax leader for PwC, and now the federal government has pulled him out of PwC. He's now the chairman, fiscal and tax advisory to the federal government of Nigeria. So they're making some new fiscal laws, new tax policies, and all that. So what I'm saying is that as career professionals, we can also get to the heights where we're happy, we have a stable and a decent life, a classy life that does not entail you roughing it to make it. But there's a process to getting there. So it doesn't just fall on your laps. If you talk to these people, they have backstories too that didn't start out so great. But then what starts out so great? That's the point. What starts out so great? Everything starts a little, shaky. Then the more you build, the better you become. And then in this day and age where since COVID, 9-to-5 remote jobs have become the new side hustle or wealth create since COVID happened. All of us now realize that, so we didn't have to be going to work 5 times a week. Really? You mean this thing that they used to act like if I didn't come to the office, the world would die? I can do it from my room, lying on my bed in my pajamas. All of us suddenly realized that after 2020. And the truth is, almost all jobs, except for maybe engineering jobs or jobs that, you have to be physically present to build construction or anything, almost all jobs can now be done remotely, or either fully or partially, including the job that you currently have. What you need to do is to evolve your skills and niche down to an area where remote jobs are available. So, for example, say you're an HR expert. You can niche down to recruitment and find remote jobs on recruitment. Say you are a marketing expert. You can niche down to digital marketing and find remote work on digital marketing. I know a lady who does social media management for 4 foreign accounts, 4 foreign social platforms, and each one pays her a minimum of $1,500 to $2,500 per month. Right now, she's averaging between $9,000 to $10,000 every month from working as a social media manager of those 4 companies. So it may not come in the form of the job you're currently doing the way you're doing it. You need to look at, in your skill area, where can I niche down and become so skilled that I can offer this service remotely? And then you go on Fiverr and Upwork and all these other remote job sites where you can earn $50 here, $100 there, $200 here, and you build from there. So your side hustle can actually be your corporate job. You may just simply need to learn additional skills that can help you create wealth with your 9 to 5. Let's now move to the career advancement strategies that I want us to talk about. We're going to be talking about 15 plus. We're going to examine this career advancement strategy in 3 parts. 1, we're going to talk about evolving your mindset. That is, what is personally working against you that is not making you progress in your career. We're going to look at that. Then we're going to talk about decoding your organization. So how well do you know the organization you work for, and how are you taking advantage of it? You see, this life is a person who is advantaged that makes it. So you have to find out what it is about your organization that can give you an advantage. And C, we'll talk about some workplace secrets and strategies for advancement. The first thing that is working against you personally, my dear corporate professionals, is you do not have any career goal. You don't even understand what is driving you. Personally, you are just working because they say we should work. Adulting requires work. The only way to meet bills is to work. So that's why you see some people that are looking for jobs. And they will come and meet me and say, Madam, please, anything. My CV, I want to give you my CV. I'll say, what's your area of competence? Ma, right now, anything. I know you're not serious. What do you mean by anything? Is anything a job? So if personally you have not even articulated by yourself that, okay, what do I have skills in? So you meet somebody who can help you and you say anything. If I tell you there's position for front-end engineer in my company, and will your CV pass muster? So how can you say anything? Oh, madam, I have skills in office administration. I've done travel and logistics. I've done immigration services. I've done office services, inventory. You know what you're good at. You know what your trajectory is. But when you come with, well, anything I will do, and I know, let me not be unkind. I know sometimes being frustrated or being out of a job for a long time forces us to say that, but that doesn't help. When you tell somebody to help you with a job, you send your CV and you say anything, I can tell you for free that they have not sent your CV anywhere because you have not given them any reason. So even if a good job comes, you don't come to mind because you did not tell them what exact area you are skilled in. So look at the diagram on your right. There are 5 different circles with different career goals. So the question says, what does success mean to you? Now, a goal is something you hope to attain. It's a long-term thing. But that goal, because you're looking at it at the end, it's derivative of all the actions you do today to help you get to that goal. When you don't have that career goal for whatever you're doing right now, it becomes anything that comes along. Every wind and sway will just push you. Entrepreneurs say, it's side business they're doing, you follow, you go and put it. But you don't have a defined career goal. So look at that image and tell me where you are right now in your current career. What is the definition of success? What is the definition of success to you? Is it financial security? Note that financial security is different from financial freedom. Financial security talks about having enough money to take care of your personal needs right now. Personal freedom is you have enough money not to work. You can do whatever you like with your time. You have enough money to allow you to do that. Social impact means you are at a point in your life where you've amassed your skills, you know what you want, you have enough money, but you want to impact the lives of other people. Personal growth is, there's still a few things you need to learn about systems and structures, and you want to become better at improving yourself personally. Career advancement says, look, in the next 5 years, I'm currently a supervisor. In the next 5 years, I want to become an AGM. I want to become an ED. I want to become a manager. That's career advancement. Happiness is you want to wake up every morning and just be like, wow, how did I get this lucky? I love my job. I love my life. Everything just works. Fulfillment is you've left career stage. You're at a point where you're looking for self-actualization now, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You want to feel fulfilled. At this point, you've moved from job to vocation. You want to be able to do what brings you joy. And then recognition could be in your career, you want to be the go-to person. There are 50 of you doing something in your office. You want to be the one everyone comes to as, if it's about that thing, please go to Aisha. Please go to Liz. Oh, please go to Andrew. That's what you want. And of course, power and influence, you want to be a mover and shaker of the world. What you're doing right now. So take, for example, you say financial security, and you're a man with a family man with maybe 3 children, and you want financial security, and your current salary is still under 100,000, just with all sense of responsibility. I'm not trying to shame anybody. So let's assume that your take-home pay is within is below 100,000 or 100,000 and below, and your goal is financial security, and you have looked at your industry or your company. That 100,000 is not because you just joined the company. You've worked for like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and they're still paying you that 100,000. Clearly, your company does not have the capacity to pay more. So if you're staying in that organization and you are expecting financial security, you see that where you currently are is not going to match your career goal. So you need to begin to think of how to move, what else to do, so that you can achieve that financial security. Because for as long as that need is not met, there's nothing you do that will make you feel fulfilled. If your basic needs are not met, and you are in an organization where you clearly know that in the next 5 years, that 100,000 is not going to become 800,000, or it's not going to become 500,000. Maybe they'll be putting 20K every year. Unfortunately, the economy is not galloping at 20K every year. So you need to begin to ask yourself, should I stay here? Or what else can I do to augment this income? What other thing can I do? Maybe you then need a side hustle, something to bring in some more income stream. But you can't just sit on it and just say, I'm earning this amount and I want financial security. It's not going to happen by magic. It is the actions you take today that will determine what comes tomorrow. Number 2 thing that is working against you personally is you have a victim mindset, not a growth mindset. I have one-on-one paid sessions with people. And every time I talk to some people, I'm amazed at the kind of mindset they have. With all sense of humility, sometimes I feel that part of our biggest problems is what we have allowed to sit in our soul as reality. Meanwhile, it's not true. You are in A and you're saying, this economy, nobody's making it in this economy. Nobody, everybody is feeling it. You let that one comfort you, that everybody is suffering. Allow me to tell you that it's not true. Some people are living as if fuel is not 1,350 in this same Nigeria, and they did not steal money. I'm not talking about those ones who have access to all of our common wealth. I'm talking about people doing legitimate business or legitimate careers, and they're living as if all this, they are complaining. So, hey, now, wow, but it's not because they can't afford it. There are different types of complaints with this fuel thing. One is actual pain. Like, because you know it is touching your financial source. The other one is wonder. Hey, now, wow. But they can afford it too. Do you see? So not everybody that is saying now wow with you is going through the same pain. No. Everybody is just, group co-ruminating. So don't be happy that all of us are complaining and you think it's difficult for everybody. It's not true. Or you think, oh, I can't make it here unless I jackpot, unless I travel out of the country. There are many of us with this mindset is not true either. You don't have to jackpot before you make it. That's the honest truth. There are many of us here who are in Nigeria and we're making very good money, legitimately from our corporate 9-to-5 jobs. Some people are earning in dollars while in Nigeria. Some people have benefits that they don't even touch their salaries at all. Yes, you may not be there or you may not have access. Who says it can't happen? Why do you think it can't happen to you? Or, oh, I don't have the right education. I went to a school that's not recognized, or pardon me, I went to a polytechnic, or and because of that, you think that your chances are limited. Or, oh, I'm not competent, I'm not liked. Or the worst one, well, in this life, Jare, whatever will be, will be. All these struggles, all is vanity, nothing will change you. Please, I beg you, if you are here and that is your mindset, this 2024, please wash your head, wash it. It's not true. Don't let it sit in your spirit, I beg you. Because once your spirit and your soul believes that nothing can change, then you will just keep repeating the same experience year in, year out, and nothing will truly change. Because the mind is the seat of all progress. What your mind believes, your body carries out. So if you are there thinking whatever will be, my own lot is how is my background, is where I came from, is because I don't have advantage, and you allow that thing to sit in your spirit and you're not willing to take any action to change it, then you have a victim mindset and it is working against you. But if you're like Mr. B, who believes that, look, there are great jobs that pay very well. The only thing I need to do is I must find them. And then before I find them, I must be skilled enough to have the skills that those jobs that pay well are looking for. That's all it is now. If you like a particular type of car, a lot of the men will be able to attest to it. If you like a particular type of car, or you decide you want to buy a particular type of car, that's the only car you start seeing on the road. Everywhere you go, it's as if that's the only car that is available. The day you decide, I want to buy Lexus RX 350, everywhere you go, that's all you'll be seeing. Because your brain believes whatever you tell it. So when you say to your brain, there are great jobs that pay well, I must find them, your brain will reorganize itself and begin to look for. Before, it's not that those opportunities were not coming near you, because you were not expecting them, you were not recognizing them, even though they were passing by you. But the minute you begin to tell yourself, there are better jobs than this one I'm doing inside this same Nigeria, I must find them, you begin to see how your eyes will suddenly begin to see things you didn't see before. Suddenly you're spending more time on LinkedIn and you're seeing that there's this opportunity here. There's this opportunity I can apply for here. There's this I can do here. You tell yourself, I can make it even in this country before Jackpot comes out. I'm not against traveling out of the country. If you feel, you have better idea, why not? All the best to you. But I'm saying, don't let the reason you go be because you think there's no opportunity here in Nigeria. It's not true. I still did recruitment a few months ago for how many people, and I know how much we promised to pay them. People are getting jobs every day. The question is, are you even applying one? What skills do you have? Are the skills that you have the ones they're looking for in the market? And then you are like, look, my career growth depends on what I do. It doesn't depend on anyone else. What I do affects my growth. Once you put that at the back of your mind, what I do affects my growth. What I do affects my growth. You begin to see changes. So if you have a victim mindset and not a growth mindset, this is part of what has been working against you personally in your career. The next thing is you're not prioritizing quality in your work. You are putting in little and expecting much. You're not prioritizing quality. Let's be honest. I've worked with a lot of corporate workers. Most of us do the minimum and expect the most. And it's understandable because we get paid regularly in a month. Sometimes we lose the urge to outperform, as in whether I do it to excellent means or I don't do it to excellent means. Maybe it's the same salary I'm getting. So that kind of attitude sort of pulls down the urge to want to perform excellently. But please don't fall into this trap. Why? Because your work output announces your skill level in an organization. So look at these two slides, these two reports. Can you believe that they're the same reports? The one on the left and the one on the right, the exact same report. But look at how the one on the left presented it. Look at how the one on the right presented it. If you were the boss, which one will you pick and read if you told two people to bring a report and one gave you the one on the left and the other person gave you the one on the right? Which one will you read first? The right. Because look at the way he constructed it. Look at the way he made it easy to read. Look at the way he used graphs to analyze it. So please, as corporate workers, learn this today. Your work output announces your skill level. You're not getting promoted? Ask yourself, what kind of skill level, what kind of output are you giving at work? Being busy is not being productive. I tell my staff all the time that you're running up and down, effort. Effort is not result. Being busy is not being productive. And if you're here, you're a corporate worker, you're still struggling with Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, you're not doing the best you can. Those things are your basics. You must know them back to back. There are free trainings online. There are cheap trainings. Focus on it and improve yourself in them. There are even so many new tools right now that if you are still struggling with this basic MS Word, MS Microsoft Suite, how will you then learn these new ones? And scrolling through Instagram is not the tool. That's not the work tool. You need to learn this. You need to learn proper email etiquette. All of these things, you don't know it, but they're working against you. Some of us are so afraid of bringing out quality work because some of us think if I do too much quality work, George, they'll be calling me to do too much work. So you deliberately hoard your skills because you don't want them to call you to do too much. That's not the right attitude, please. Number 4, what you don't know is costing you. Forget potential, embrace agility. You see the world we're in now. The now of work is constantly learning and updating. You see how your phone keeps asking you to shut down so that they can install update patches. You have to do the same for your brain. You have to learn, unlearn, and relearn what you knew before. You have to embrace new forms of knowledge. You have to know AI tools that help work efficiency. You must measure your growth by how much better you are than last year. It is no longer what you know, but how well you learn, because the tools are changing every day. Don't be stuck in the past. Spend some of that scrolling time to learn something that stands you out. Attend courses or pay for small short courses that gives you basic work tools, work skills that can enable you become excellent at your corporate job. Nobody is going to pay you something for nothing. It doesn't happen that way. The value you bring in is what determines what you get by way of pay or salary increases. But when you submit shoddy work, when you submit work that your employer or your boss has to redo over and over again, you're already telling that boss that you're not ready for the next level. And then when promotion comes, you are wondering why they didn't promote you. It's like they hate you. They don't hate you. The work you are presenting is below par. I have staff that I've worked with for more than 5 years. And the report presentation they give me 5 years later, that is the same one they were giving me 5 years ago. In fact, I was the one that did the presentation slide. So for 5 years, they've just been changing numbers, changing figures, and sending me the same thing. How would you make me feel like you have done something new? Then promotion will come. You say, for 5 years, they've not promoted me. What new thing have you shown me that tells me that you can now perform at the next higher level? Remember, promotion is not about doing your current work excellently. It's about demonstrating capacity to perform at the next higher level. That's what makes you get promoted. So if you're not doing that, you're not going to get a promotion. 5, what is working against you personally? You have not identified and dealt with your personal work demons. Your self-awareness is very low. I hate to break it to ya, but 9 out of 10 times we are the cause of our problems at work. Some of these problems or some of these behaviors are a product of our upbringing. For some of us, we're dealing with unhealed trauma responses. I studied work psychology, so I know. And some of us have small ogbanje tendencies. My apologies to those who don't understand what I'm saying. I'm saying some of us has little witch tendencies. You are the one that is sad when everyone is celebrated. You're the one that snitch and badmouth your colleagues to bosses. So you have things like procrastination, depression, blame shifting. When, they call you out for doing something at work, you quickly push it. It's always somebody else's fault. It's never your fault. You never own up to say, oh, I should have done it this way. I'm so sorry. I'll do it better. It can't come out of your mouth. It must be somebody else's fault. What about those of us who have performance anxiety? It's not that we don't know it, but somehow when it's time to perform, we start getting scared. What about those of you who have an irrational fear of your bosses? And ask yourself, really, what can they do to you that is making you so afraid of them? What about those of us who are so defensive? If your boss is trying to tell you, I think you should have, no. Why I did it that way is because, I think if you put, no. The reason I put blue is because, and then after a while, you notice that your boss stops talking to you. And then you come on and say, workplace mentor, I have a boss. He doesn't give me feedback. In fact, I don't even know. He doesn't tell me what I'm doing wrong. You forget that every time he tries to tell you, you are quick to defend yourself. And so the guy stops talking. And then what about those of us that talk carelessly at the office? When I say carelessly, it has cost some of us serious, when I say serious promotion or serious advancement opportunity. Some of us come to work and when you're talking with your bosses, you just open your mouth, wow, and say things that is not even necessary to be said. I gave an example of a guy, one of our EDs was so proud that his daughter had done very well in her JAM exam. And he was so excited because I think for JAM, the highest you can get is 400. And the girl had scored 275. And the man was excited. He was just talking about it that day. My daughter did very well. She did very well. Oh, I'm so proud of her. And then one colleague entered the room while he was talking. And he now asked the boss, he said, okay, what did she get? And then the boss said, she made 275. You know what this colleague said? True life, I was there. Oh, it's not that somebody told me. He said, okay, it's 275 that you are screaming about like that. I thought she made 350. Hey, I wanted to shoot him from where I was sitting. Like, how would you say something that stupid? Like, you did not see that this guy was so proud of what the girl had done. Of what benefits what benefit was it to you to make that kind of statement, bringing down the man's spirit, bringing down the accolades that he was showering on his daughter, and this is somebody that had the right of decision over you at work. And the guy's face just changed a little, but he just laughed it off. I can assure you that there's nothing that boy asks for in the next 3 months that will pass if he's coming on that boss's table. Listen, let me tell you something about workplace. We may talk about how great objectivity, all of that is. Don't believe that rubbish. At the end of the day, we are all human beings and emotions come into everything we do. So when you are at work, please be on your guard. Be on your guard. You need to be on your guard. If what you're going to say is not going to add positively to the issue, just keep quiet and listen and laugh and leave there. These are little relationship things that most people miss out. They just talk. There was another one where her boss, her boss was all about weight loss and everything. And for like 3 months, every morning she'll first go jog around, then come to the office, take her bath before she comes to her work desk. And so everybody was really, praising the boss. And you know how it is with weight loss issue. After a while, you get tired and you just drop the thing. And I think the boss stopped. And this guy went to meet her boss and said, madam, no, sorry, it was a guy. Madam, it's like you're not doing this weight loss thing again. No. Your cheeks are beginning to get round. Hey, how do you say things like that? Tell me how those kind of things come out of your mouth. And you think that you've added value to the conversation. So sometimes what is working personally against you is the demons you have not dealt with. For some of us, it's procrastination. Once you know that the thing is supposed to be submitted next week, you won't start it until 3 hours before. And then you are now working with anxiety, and then you're not able to give your best. And what you present is less than you could have. And you could have done better, but somehow you just keep procrastinating. But you need to work on all these personal demons. So let's examine part B. Part B is decoding your organization. How well do you know your organization? Number 6, learn the rules so that you can take advantage of them properly. Study and understand your company policies back to back. You want to get promoted. Do you know how long it takes to get promoted in your organization? What performance levels bring promotions? Which ones bring salary increases? What do you need to do to get a promotion? Do you know that many employees, including HR managers, I know some of you are here, we just follow workplace practices. We never actually read the policies and procedures documents. I'm not talking about the small handbook. The small handbook, staff handbook, comes from your HR policies and procedures document. Is a bigger volume. It should be minimum 60 or 70 pages. Ask your HR manager for it. I want the policies and procedures handbook. Take time one weekend and read it from top to bottom. I'll give you an example. While I was a consultant, I was doing some HR reorganization for an organization, and the HR manager at that time, I had to speak with her because I saw in the HR policies that there was provision for paternity leave where all men were allowed to take 5 days after their wives put to bed. And in cross-examining the men, all of them said, no, paternity leave, what's that? So I was a bit surprised. So I talked to the HR manager, a lady, and I said, Madam, how come in your policies document, men are allowed to take paternity leave, but all the men in your organization said they have never taken it before? And this HR manager says to me, that she saw it now, but she didn't really understand it. That which one is paternity leave? That is it the men that gave birth to the baby that they should be enjoying paternity leave? And so because it didn't make sense to her, she doesn't allow anyone to take it. What is written in your policy, you do not allow anyone to take it. But look at the men themselves. No one read that policy to be able to say, what do you mean by you not allow us to? When it's already written? If it was not written, it's a different thing. Was already written. You'll be able to take it now. Nobody will be able to do anything because it's written in the policy. But most of us just, how do they do things here? Then people will tell you from word of mouth. You won't take the policies document and read it yourself so that you can take advantage. How about one of the guys in my office that had worked with us for 10 years and he wanted to do his master's in the UK and it was going to take about 2 years. So he brought his resignation letter to me. And he said, madam, I have to resign. And it was a really good staff. So I said, Nicholas, why do you want to go? He said, well, I want to go and do my master's in the UK to take about 2 years. I have to resign. I said, really? No, you don't have to resign. I said, haven't you spent more than 10 years with the organization? He said, yes. I said, but you are eligible for sabbatical leave now. He said, what's that? I said, sabbatical leave. Now, we essentially allow you to go for a maximum of 2 years and your job is still waiting for you. So just apply for a sabbatical rather than resignation outright. He said, what? Long story short, because of time, he applied for a sabbatical, finished his master's, came back and his job role was waiting for him. In fact, I think we promoted him because he had done master's now. So he didn't even come back on the same level. So what am I saying? Learn the rules so you can take advantage of them properly. When you want to talk or argue with your boss, talk from a place of knowledge. Don't go and say, Gabriel, I've not attended training. Everybody is going except me. What kind of argument is that? What is in your policy? What does it say? Does it say within a year you must have done 80 hours of training? Meanwhile, you've only done 20 hours. So on what basis is he going to send you on training? On what basis are you talking with HR? Most of us don't do that. We just go after we sign our offer letter. That's the last thing. Every other thing, we wait for somebody to tell us. Then we say it's not working for me. What about your company's activities? Learn your company's activities to retain critical talent. You say you want to be the go-to. You want to have recognition. You want to be known as in your career goals. You want to have recognition. You want to have impact. You want career advancement. Do you know your company's activities to retain critical talent? Now, for most organizations, this is the pathway. This is the value chain to make you somebody that is indispensable or a critical talent in your organization. So you come in onboarding, they'll give you orientation, you know, and all of that. Then you have that confirmation period, which can range between 6 to 9 months. Then after confirmation, they put you into the system. And after confirmation, a lot of people relax, but no, it's just that, you know, after confirmation is when HR is watching you. So you are there for a watch period. They're still looking at you. So during that period, they're assessing and developing you. This is a time when, you know, they send you on training or put you under a manager or something. So because they want you to grow. And then when they watch that your performance through the performance management system that your company uses, they would assess your performance. And if you are a high performer, if at the end of that period, you are a high performer, it leads to them building capacity. Now, the truth of the matter is that nobody wants to pour water into a basket. If they have trained you and they are not seeing value, they're not going to do further training. But when you demonstrate capacity, then you get more. So they build capacity and they reward you with either job enlargement, training, secondment, exposure, or promotion. But if after developing you during that watch period, you are a low performer, that's the lower part now, they can try to upskill you. Maybe we didn't give her the right training, or we didn't give him the right, send him for business, something. Send him for that one. If they still see that your skills are not up to par, they immediately recommend you for out counseling. So if you are in your organization and you are currently in these red spots where you can see that your boss is beginning to talk about terminating you, or you're not pulling your weight, it means that during this watch period of assess and develop, you did not prove muster. You did not show that you had the skills to the level they wanted it. And that's why you are in this red box. But staff will normally say, somebody has something against me. Do you see? That's that blame shifting again. They won't sit down to say, what am I doing wrong? I remember one girl sent me a DM and she was like, Mom, I don't know. My boss just hates me. He's not giving me feedback. I've been trying. I've been asking her for feedback. She's not giving me feedback. So I said, explain to me a bit more. What exactly did the boss say? Say that she'll just come to the office and say, I'm not getting what I want from you. But I've told her, Madam, let's have a sit down so you can give me feedback. I said, I'm not getting what I want from you. What is that one? Feed forward. You are waiting for her to sit down and be telling you, okay, what you are doing wrong is this. I say, no, she has given you feedback. She's not getting what she wants from you. Your job is to ask yourself, what am I supposed to be giving this woman that I'm not getting? If you're new at that job, there are people who have worked there before. Ask questions. How does she like her reports? What do you think I'm not doing right? But you sit down there and say, it's because they hate me. It's because I know they are bosses from hell. Please, I'm not evading the fact that some bosses are, but please don't go there first when you have issues at work. That is somebody else. Always be self-aware. Maybe I'm the problem. What do I need to change? I'm telling you, if you focus on what you can control first, you will see more results than blame shifting, pointing fingers at everybody but yourself. How well do you know your company? Ask, seek, knock to get what you want. Let me tell you something about corporate life. You see this thing we call management discretion. You see it in your offer letters. Something, your bonus is at management discretion. We use management discretion to overrule policy. So if the policy says promotions will be done every year, then somewhere down there they will put, but the eventual decision is at management's discretion. What the company is, they're trying to buffer themselves so that if they don't promote you, they have put it there that it is at the end of the day, management discretion will overrule. So that management discretion works in two ways. You also can use it to break policy. So when you want to ask for something, perhaps something that has never been done before in your organization, remember that management's discretion can also be useful for you to get what you're asking for, even though no one has asked for it. So always learn to ask, seek, and knock to get what you want. There are ways to do that, but we can't go into that in this class. So, for example, I had a staff at one point come to meet me. He said, Ma, I've not gone on any training. Please, I want to be on the next training. I said, why? She said, everybody else has gone for training. It's only me that has not gone. I said, that's not a good enough reason to train you. she was just floundering. She didn't know what to say. Saka, 2 days later, another staff came. No, he didn't even come. He sent me an email about this same training. And in that training, in that email, he said, ma'am, I'd like to be put on that training such and such because it is useful on the project we're doing now. It would allow me to deliver the work faster, engage customers better, and help me to cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Hey, by the time I finished reading that email, in fact, I just sent to the HR supervisor, please put him on the training. He has convinced me. What am I saying? Everyone, if you work in an organization and you assume that the system should know to take care of your needs, then you are on a long thing, like they say in Nigeria. You must take charge. You must sit in the driver's seat of your career. You must sit in the driver's seat. That's why you're not making progress. You are waiting for people to recognize that they need to promote you. And they should recognize that they've not trained me. Maybe it's in policy that they would train me. Must I go and ask? Really? Do you not realize that the person that is supposed to recognize is also fighting for his own? You need to sit in the driver's seat of your career. That is the only way that these promotions and advancement opportunities you are looking for will come as quickly as you can have it. So when you want to ask, think, what is the benefit to the company? Never think, how will it benefit me? Your company is a business machine. They think first, how does it benefit them? Not you, not you. Why will you go to your company and be talking, I have not, I. No, push it outward. Ma, for that job, for that project, for that thing to work, this would help. Don't make it about yourself. Make it about how it benefits them. And you will see things begin to change. HR is not your friend. This is my favorite slide. HR is not your friend. With all due respect to my people leaders who are on this call, any HR professional knows that this thing I'm telling you is the truth. HR is not your friend, but HR is not your enemy either. Now, your employer wants to spend the least to make the most, and you realize that your own cost as staff is one of the highest costs to the company. The only way your employer makes more revenue is if they spend less, and then you are one of the highest overhead. Then you, on your own parts, would really love to make the most while doing the least. Of course, if they're paying me 500,000, of course I want the opportunity to earn 1 million, and I'm still doing the same work for 500,000. Is that not why we're always fighting for salary increases? We're not asking for more work now. We're just asking for more money. So HR is the middle ground that helps the employer get the best out of you while spending the least. But always remember that HR's first loyalty is to the business. It is not to you. Remember that HR was employed by the business. HR's role is to ensure that it has enough skilled resources to run the business. So HR's priority is always to ensure that the company is protected. And HR needs to see that the business is your own priority. That's how HR will work well with you. So let me tell you how to work with HR. 1, only share what is necessary with HR. Don't ever go to HR to threaten resignation. You know how sometimes, and then, some HR professionals are so professional that they look like your favorite uncle, auntie, mother, sister, the way they talk to you. Some of them are really professional. So you get sucked in. If you sit with me, you'll be like, this woman understands my whole problems. But while I'm talking to you, please be assured that I'm thinking the business first. So for example, if you come to any professional HR, don't go to HR and threaten resignation. I've had some people who think, by coming to HR and saying, well, madam, I'm just tired of this. Well, you will not be surprised though if I come and say I'm going. Meanwhile, they have not made any plans. It's not like they are in the final stages of one super interview. They just feel that maybe if they threaten HR small, HR will now move quickly and find ways to keep them. Do you know what a professional HR would do in that case? A professional HR begins to look for your replacements, because you have simply mentioned to HR that the manning levels they need to move the business forward in the nearest future, you may not be one of them. So while he's telling you, no, now don't say that. They already told you that we are planning ways to make sure that everybody is satisfied. At the back of his or her mind, he's thinking, this one is not with us for the long run. Who can take her role if she leaves? because HR needs to ensure that there is no vacuum. And you have just told HR that you may leave. You've gone to threaten HR with resignation, thinking they'll use it and call you back. Please don't try that thing if you have been thinking that's the way to go. It works for some people, especially when you're in front end. Let me try and balance things. If you're in front end, that is project management, that you are in revenue generating departments, and maybe a project is about to start, you're the key person, you have a window to use that advantage, maybe to shake things a bit, but don't make it the order of the day to say when you want increase, you threaten resignation. They'll just be planning for your removal behind your back. And so by the time you come up and say, oh, I want to leave, your replacement is ready. Or you now decide you don't want to leave. God help you if they've already finished settling things with the replacement. You may actually be forced. I had a staff who did that once. She sent in her resignation letter and she said, because she was so indispensable to the organization at the time, she worked directly with the MD. She thought, no one could take her role. When she sent in her resignation, she thought that the reaction would be, no. So when that didn't happen, she was very surprised. And that was how she left. She actually wasn't prepared, but she thought this was the way to get them to shake up. So it can work against you. So don't try it. It's not a good way to deal with HR. So how do you deal with HR? You deal with HR as a business partner. You recognize that HR is your business partner who wants to ensure that you develop to the ultimate so that you can be best used for the organization's business. So when you approach HR with that mindset, you can go to HR and ask to be nominated for certain trainings. With this mindset, you're not saying, Madam HR, I beg, chook my name there, put my name there. You're not saying that. You're saying, ma'am, I think I need to go for this training. Why? You are giving reasons, putting the company in front. If we're going to do this EXY project properly, there's this skill that we don't have in our team. If you send me for this training, I can learn it, then come and train the other 3 members of the team. So it's like 1 for 4. And then we'll be able to deliver. Every sensible HR person will listen to you. Do you see it? And then number 10, find out the key influencers or decision makers in your system and build a relationship with them. Who are influencers? Influencers are those who have leverage or access to the decision makers in your organization. These are people who may not be the decision makers, but they have leverage. So take, for example, the PA to a CEO has leverage. Because you see, sometimes these CEOs or these employers, they like to talk. They like to just bare their mind. So when a particular staff, for example, is doing something wrong, they usually talk to who is closest to them. And that's usually like the PA or the secretary. Can you imagine? Because they trust the person not to, share the information. So they can be a bit free with that person. Now imagine the CEO mentions your name. And that secretary say, oh, that girl, very hardworking. In fact, she just drops it there. It creates an image in the mind of the CEO. So the point is that there's people like that, influencers. They are around those who make decisions concerning you. Don't be too quick to discredit them. Oh, that one, PA, I'm like 5 steps ahead of her. That PA may be the one that has been making sure that you have not been promoted for the past 5 years. That's the reality of life. I'm telling you. What about drivers? Drivers to executive management. I have had my driver for 19 years. The same driver I was using since I started work. So you can imagine he's more like family. Do you know how many things have changed in my organization simply because my driver brought it up? Driver's office, the chair there is very hard. The next day I get to the office and I just talk to facilities manager. Why is the AC in the driver's office not working? Why is the chair? And then it's changed. Do you see? So there are people around decision makers who may influence decisions. Find them and build a relationship with them. There are ways to do it, but we can't go into it now. So let's go to part C, which is the final part of this presentation. Give me another 15 minutes and I would round up, I promise you. All right. So what are some of the things that we can do to ensure promotion and advancement? What are some of these workplace secrets and strategies for advancement? Number 1, please note this. Only those who are seen are nominated for advancement. In other words, this year, please self-promote. Do you know why you are a high flyer? You are doing your job very well, but nobody is promoting you? Because you are not self-promoting. You are there thinking, my work should speak for me. It doesn't work that way. Even in the best systems where meritocracy is followed, it's still subjective. So why would you leave your progress into the hands of another person without doing anything about it? So I hear people say things that, me, I don't like office politics, so I don't even want it at all. If you've listened to any of my short trainings, I tell you, corporate politics, the minute you sign your offer letter, you are in corporate politics. You are in office politics. The question is, are you going to play it to your advantage, or are you going to let it be played on your behalf? Once you are in that organization and you are a member, you are in corporate politics, you are a part of it. So whether you fold your hands and say nothing, or you say much, what you say, what you don't say, can and will be used against you at work. So it's better you control the narrative about yourself. I remember, I have to give this example because it's very relevant. There was a time we made some deputy manager promotions in one of my offices that I worked. And as a consequence of that promotion, the deputy managers were allowed to now attend management meetings. And there was this particular guy that was promoted, and he attended that meeting. And so throughout the 3-hour meeting, he said absolutely nothing. And I was trying to look at him that, this is your first time in the meeting. At least when they talked about things in your area, maybe in your department, say something. Let the people who promoted you see that, oh, indeed, you are ready to take a seat on this management table. The boy said absolutely nothing. The man, he looked down almost all through as if, don't see me, don't see me, don't see me. And I was sitting too far away from him. I wanted to nudge him a bit. Do you know that after the presentation, I went to meet him and I said, why didn't you say anything at all? You just sat in there. This was your first opportunity to show to people that you don't even usually relate to it because they're so high up there, that you are now ready for the high table. You've been given a seat there. Prove to them that you're worth it. You didn't even say anything. I thought when we were talking about your department, you say something like, oh, sir, if I may just come in, and then you say one or two things. You just kept quiet. Do you know what he said to me? He said, and then actually he made a presentation that he was thinking that somebody will ask him that, can you tell us something about your department? And then he will now open the presentation. But since nobody asked, so he just let the presentation that he worked on just die like that. So I said, when we were talking about your department, why didn't you just say, sir, I don't know if I could get like 2 or 3 minutes. I've made a presentation. I'd just like to talk about it. I said, do you know what kind of accolade that would have given you? Now, fast forward 3 days, I was sitting in the CEO. What's a fast forward 3 days? I think it was the next day. I was talking with the CEO and he said, hey, that meeting yesterday, who was that boy that sat down there like a stone? I said, one of the... He said, what is he doing in the meeting? He just sat down there. He was so totally off. It was like he didn't even know what we were doing in that place. Margaret, are you sure you are promoting the right people? You have to self-promote. Your achievements, the things you do has to be known for you to be promoted. No, how do you self-promote? Use emails. If you have the opportunity to write emails to a large group of people that comprises your bosses and leaders, use that opportunity to write a banging email that everybody's like the way this person writes. And guess what? There are many tools now you can use to write emails perfectly. You don't even need to do the work. Remember that somebody in the decision-making room must know about you. No one makes it alone in the corporate world. There are no lone rangers in the corporate world. Number 12, do not become irreplaceable or you become unpromotable. So for those of you who like to hoard skills, let me not teach anybody so that they won't know it more than me. It may work against you. There are people who take pride in the fact that they're the only ones who can do something. So under pressure, the workload increases because they're the only ones who can do it. You now forever become the go-to person for that particular task. What will happen is that they will keep looking for people to promote ahead of you because they don't want you to leave that task. You are too good at it. Remember, the company wants what's best for them. So if you are the best at a particular thing and you are not displaying any other skill, they will keep you on that job. You get salary increases, yes, but they're not going to promote you. Why should I promote my best hand out of the job that he does best? And then when I look behind, there's nobody else to do it. Do you see? So when you become very good at what you do, teach it to somebody else. Then learn something new at a higher level. Now, this is if your goal is career advancement. Remember, we have different goals. If your goal is career advancement, don't get stuck becoming irreplaceable on a particular task. All right. Know your boss's color. Your boss must like you to get ahead. You can't afford to hate your boss or dislike your boss if you are looking for career advancement too. Because bosses are usually gateways to promotions and advancement. Usually they recommend you, they nominate you, they sit in that promotion room where you are not, and they speak for you or speak against you. So even if they don't like you, ensure that they don't hate you. And one of the ways to do that is that you must understand your boss's color or your boss's personality. Now, I told you I'm certified personality assessor, where it shows how to deal with different personalities. You have the dominant, the influencing, the cautious, or the steady personalities, and there are ways to interact with them as a boss or a subordinate to get the best results out of them. So you have to learn these ways. All right. Number 14, find out your informal workplace title. It is so important. This is not the title that is on top of your card, on top of your nice business card, the matte one that you're carrying around. No, that's not the one. This is what comes to mind every time they think of you at work. So one thing you must recognize is that how you perceive yourself may not be how you are viewed at work. You may think that you are the best Excel person at work, but what everybody remembers you for is that you eat a lot, or that you take people's food from the fridge, or that you are the resident gossip, or you are the one who keeps scrolling all different sites during work hours. So be careful and find out what people actually think of you, what comes to mind when they think of you. And you can ask your colleagues. Another way to find out that the name they keep calling you, that is not your real name. Mr. G-Star. I knew it. If there's any news in this office, you will be the first to know. They are simply telling you that you're the office gossip. I hope you know. So don't smile and say, of course. They've just told you that you're the office gossip. So find out what that informal workplace title is and be sure that it aligns with what your career goal is. Because when they are sitting in that room where they want to make promotion decisions and somebody says, what about Nyonju? Say, who is Nyonju again? That girl in sales. Is it that one that is rude like this? Is it that one that doesn't greet people? Is it that one that we sent for one training and, she came back, she couldn't even write a report to explain? That's your informal workplace title. So be careful to make sure that that title is not something negative. Number 15, nurture relationships with senior colleagues in private, be professional at work. Now, to get ahead, like I said, your boss needs to know and like you. You need to find out what is important to your senior leaders and acknowledge it. Don't spill over private affection into professional workspace. When I talk about nurturing relationships, private affection, I'm not talking about anything romantic, please. I'm talking about trying to develop relationships with people who make decisions. And there's nothing ingenuine about it. You recognize, it's like having customers in entrepreneurship world. So you're saying, I want to impress this customer so much that it becomes a repeat customer. Is that not what we do for those of us who have side hustles? I want to give the best service so that this person remembers me. And so when your best customer's birthday comes, you send a cake or you send a gift because they have done so much or they have bought so much from you in the year. That's what you do when you're an entrepreneur. You nurture relationships with your customers. But in the corporate world, we don't learn to nurture relationships with our senior colleagues, the people who make decisions about us. And then we expect to be promoted. And then someone say, no, me, I don't want to be a bootlicker. It's not bootlicking, it's sense. They are your internal customers. Nurture the relationships. You want your boss thinking about you when he's sitting in that room. When they say, who are the 3 people we're sending to California for training? Your name must be there. How do you think that happens? How do you think that happens if you have not nurtured the relationship in private? But what you need to do is you don't do it in public, you see, because you don't want your colleagues or any one of those people to begin to label you. So you look for strategic moments to nurture the relationship. So take Christmas or this Salah, for those of us that are Muslims, use that opportunity to gift your boss something nice. Don't do it in the office, or maybe just as he's going, or you put it in his car, something. Because it's a general holiday where there's a lot of giving and receiving of gifts, it doesn't seem odd. Usually for others, during Christmas period, you can give gifts to your senior colleagues. Or they're doing something and they've informed the office, oh, my daughter is getting married. Oh, it's my daughter's birthday. And you heard about it. What are you still doing in your house that day? And they did not tell me. What do you mean? You go there with a nice gift and then you sit down there and you're very noticeable. You know why you do these things? Because no one cares how much you know until you show how much you care. I'm saying look for little ways to nurture relationships. And very importantly, when a particular boss bestows relationship, that's affection or relationship towards you, please be professional in public. So when you know your boss likes you, or you know you have a like a familiar relationship outside of work, don't bring it into the office. So don't suddenly, because you know he likes you, don't sit in his office with 5 other colleagues and then you just go and sit down. Maybe all of the other colleagues are standing, respecting him. You just pull his visitor seat, sit down there, go out. And they say, oh guys, they're not sweet inside your office, because you know you have a cordial relationship outside of the office. Don't abuse it. Once you abuse it, it loses its value. Do all that familiar things outside of the, when you come back to, good morning, sir. Can we, he would appreciate you more for it, because he knows you are setting boundaries and you're not planning to cross the line or take advantage. But he registers. So when they are making decisions in that room that you are not sitting in, he will remember and he will go to bat for you. When others are saying no, he will say yes. Please try to understand where I'm coming from. Because if you truly want advancement, you need to work on sentiment and relationship. The hard skills will be there, yes, it will get you noticed, but you see the soft skills that will move you forward. So learn how to get along to get ahead. A gifted rebel is not an advantage. For those of you that are high performers and you're not getting promoted, it's possible that you are a gifted rebel. Let me tell you what a gifted rebel is. A gifted rebel is somebody who is so good, and he or she knows he or she is so good that they begin to show off within the organization. They become difficult to work with because they know that truly the company can't do without them. They don't listen to bosses who are above them because the boss doesn't know as much as they know. It's a clear fact. This one is not capping. They know they are gifted. So they've become entitled. They feel underappreciated. Everything, you are not doing it enough for them because they feel irreplaceable. The problem is when you show that kind of attitude for too long, your bosses and your leaders begin to get tired of you, but you don't know. One thing you must realize is that many leaders would rather work with a low drama, mid-performing staff than an entitled high performer. So if they're always finding problems, you are good at your job, but to work with you now, wire. So always remember that organizations hire for competency, but they retain for chemistry. That's why I'm telling you that your skills may get you the job, but it's your relationship skills that will keep you moving forward. Take it from me, I've been doing it for 24 years. It's your relationship and people management skills that will move you forward. It is not hard skills. Number 17, if you have a choice, work in revenue generating departments, not cost centers. Let me explain. If you have a choice, not all of us have the choice. Some of us are back office workers. So back office means we're in support departments like finance, IT, HR, admin, facilities, corporate services, branding, communication. That's cost centers, people who spend money. Then there are others in front-facing departments. Those are people in business development, sales and marketing, project management, project development, or whatever it's called within your organization. The people who bring in money. Now, it is easier to justify promotions where you can see the revenue that will fund the increased pay. It is easier to justify promotions where you can see the revenue that will fund the increased pay. This is why those of us who are back office people get promoted less often than those who are in the front office. It's because the front office people can justify it. They made 40 million this year. the head of the department is asking that we should make his salary from 400,000 to 500,000, and we can do it now. If they make 40 million again next month, it will come out of there. Do you see? But for those of us that are in back office, we're only spending money. Yes, our value is there, true. I'm also one of them. I'm not front office. Okay, I'm front office now, but we're always spending money. So it's harder to justify the promotion, even though you're doing excellently well. So if you have a choice, this is why this particular number 17 is not for everybody. But if you have a choice, find yourself in a front-facing department, the promotion is faster. All right, let's move on. Again, this is not for everybody. If you are in back office, don't worry, all the other strategies will still work for you. This particular one may not work for you. But if you have a choice where they are asking you, do you want to do HR or you want to go to project management, and your goal is financial security, go to sales and marketing. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, number 18, set healthy work boundary with your colleagues. Ditch over familiarity. There are things you should never share at work. Unfortunately, when you're too close to colleagues, you tend to overshare and it can land you in trouble. I told you workplace competition is real. If I share some experience I've had with workplace betrayal, people you thought were on the same page with you, when something that looks like small competition comes in like this, the way they will show you their true character, you won't even believe it. So be careful. Ditch over familiarity. Many things you never share at the office. One includes your salary. Two includes how much you spend to buy the things on your body. That's story for another day. We can't talk about it tonight. So what about for your superiors and leaders? Please, for your superiors and leaders, don't start what you can't finish. You see overzealousness about now only me can do everything. Stop it. It can lead to overwhelm. When you begin to self-promotion is not overdoing. No. Self-promotion is bringing your achievements to the fore. Overzealousness is only me that can do everything so that they can see me. That's not what I'm advocating. No. Just under-promise and over-deliver. I need you to do that report for me. Can it be ready tomorrow? No, sir. Can you give me till Friday? I have a few things I'm doing right now. And before I finish it and then get on this one. Okay, Friday. Then you deliver it on Thursday. So in the guy's eye, wow, super performer. So under promise, but over deliver. Don't over promise and under deliver. Don't say, can it be ready tomorrow? Yes, sir. Meanwhile, the thing you are supposed to do, you have not even looked at it. Then you struggle, you still can't deliver that day. Then he's calling you, where is it now? And at the end of the day, even though you've given your best, you still fall short. So be careful about that. Don't over promise and under deliver. Instead, under promise and over deliver. And with your subordinates, please don't be too friendly. Don't adopt. I shared something on Instagram today. Don't adopt the big brother approach. Some of you are so bad at it. Once you have subordinates, they all turn to your little sisters and little brothers. And that's where disrespect comes in. Hello, you know their boyfriends, you know their girlfriends, you know everything that is happening in their house. Is you they come to. That can be gauged under some sort of mentorship. But be careful how you invade people's private lives. Be very careful. It leads quickly to disrespect. You lose objectivity and you cannot administer discipline where it is necessary. Well, don't wait to be handed authority. You take it. You are their boss. Act like it. Nobody hands you authority. There would always be younger colleagues who will try you. You show them that there's a reason you are their boss. That's why you can't be doing all this nonsense, big brother, big sister, because it makes you can't administer discipline. So when you have younger colleagues who are disrespecting you, begin to document everything. Don't give them verbal instructions. Make sure that whatever you're dealing with them is over emails. So as discussed, do this, Friday submit. Make sure everything that you're doing with them is written. Don't do verbal with anyone who is disrespectful because you need the records. And which takes me to the next point. And of course, also with your clients, set work boundaries. Especially, I must talk about this, especially when it comes to gift taking. If your client is offering you any gift in private that they're not offering everybody else, please don't be too greedy to take it. It may be a way of putting you in problem. They want to own you so that things that you are not supposed to share or divulge, you may begin to talk about it because you're already in their pockets. Don't let anybody have that kind of advantage over you. I beg you. If you really want to advance and you want to be a top-notch person in your career world, don't put yourself in any client's pocket. You see the same clients, they're the ones that go and tell your guy that you collected $1,000 as small legunje. They just say it like small gist. Then your guy will say, is this what you are doing? And then from that day on, you understand why he's now quiet firing you. We talked about what that means. Why he's now quiet firing. You don't know it's the client that went to go and report. Number 19, document everything. I beg you, document everything. Use your emails to keep written records. When you have verbal discussions with staff or with customers, always go back to your email and say, as earlier discussed, further to our conversation, then you recap everything that you have said in the email so that there's a written record. If you don't have records, some people have lost their jobs because it was their word against the client's word. And your employer will believe the client. That's the person bringing the money. But if you have written records showing that what the client is saying is a lie, or that what you said is the truth, who can argue against the truth? Do you see? Make sure that you document everything, especially when you have superiors or subordinates that are nasty or are insubordinate. Please make sure that when you work with them only via emails. Don't tell them anything. There are people who twist your words, and the way you said it, maybe in jest or something, suddenly becomes something serious. Confirm verbal agreements with clients in written emails. Don't take on the assignment of a colleague without a proper handover of all they have done before bringing you on board. If you don't want to be left holding the turning stick to a food that you did not cook, always ensure that you have written communication about everything that they're handing over to you, so that it is clear that the problem came from them. Me, I took it on when the thing has spoiled. Don't go in, And then number 19, get yourself a work mentor. Now, yes, I know you will say, oh, but the workplace mentor is my own work mentor. It's true, but I cannot mentor all of you. You need to find, perhaps within your organization, somebody who, I've told you how I benefited greatly from career mentorship. You also need it. I'm telling you, especially if you're just starting out on your middle 2 to 5 years or 10 to 15 years, you still have a lot of years ahead of you. You need a career mentor. Either you're stuck right now, you don't know what to do, or you're just starting out, you need a career mentor. Seasoned or new graduate, you need a career mentor. Somebody who's been where you are and can properly guide you and hold you to some responsibilities. Now, remember that the relationship of a mentor-mentee mainly benefits you, the mentee. So you must find somebody that is vested in your success. It doesn't have to be somebody in your organization, but it must be somebody whom you admire their career journey and you believe they can guide. Now, I have paid mentorship programs, that's not part of this, but this career advancement webinar is my own way of giving back. It's free. I share all the valuable nuggets. I don't hold anything back because I truly want to give you a session that you would find useful. And then at the end of the day, I share the replay so that even if you're not doing any paid anything, what you have learned here alone, you can keep referring to it and you can use it in a way that really benefits. The final part of this presentation, now that we've talked about all this thing, how can you dominate at your workplace this 2024? We've learned different types of strategies. How do we make them come together and work? Hippocrates says, before you heal somebody, ask him if he's willing to give up the things that make him sick. So it's one thing for us to be shouting here, woo! So then when we leave here, you sleep on it and you do the same thing tomorrow morning. And 2 weeks or 2 months later, you hear workplace mentor is doing career advancement webinar again. You are the first person to sign up again, but you do nothing about it. So before you heal someone, ask him, are you willing to give up the things that make you sick? So what have you identified that you're doing wrong? And what are you going to improve on? These are questions that you must ask yourself. So you need to make a bold step to upgrade your career this 2024 if you must enjoy the benefits, from all the things that have been shared. And let's be honest, this 2.5-hour webinar cannot transform your career significantly. You saw how every point I shared, I kept saying for a later time, oh, there's a way to do it, because we can't stay here for 10 hours. That's just the truth. If we're to go in depth on each point, we'll be here for maximum of 3 weeks. But because I love you all so much, I have created a modular program that is aimed at transforming your career journey. and it is called the Dominate at Your Workplace Academy. So this modular program is one that I have curated. All of these points I've shared, but with the actual practice points, with templates and forms, and then with actual to-do list, what you actually do in those cases. So this is a 3-week career transformation program that I have created for corporate employees to help them navigate their career successfully. Don't go away now. This is very important. It contains about 4 teaching modules and about 24 courses. It has bonus teachings, practical assignments. You get live QA sessions with different industry experts, and so on and so forth. So we had held the pilot session of this program called the DAYWA Academy or DAYWA program in November 2023. We did it in 2023. There were 64 people who registered. 13 were from Ghana, 51 were Nigerians. And the student profiles range from people who had worked 2 to 5 years and people who had worked 10 to 15 years, made up about 75% of the class. And then people who had worked above 15 years made up the remaining 25. So what I'm saying is that it's an eclectic program that showed that whether you have just started working or you've worked for a while, the program was very, very useful to them. And if you later, when you can read the testimonials or you read them on my Instagram page, you will see that the people who attended really got value. So if you're part of this program, what you will benefit, amongst other things, would include how to get recognition and credit at work. You learn, I'll teach you in that program how to deal with toxic behavior, either from colleagues, subordinates, or superiors who try to undermine your authority. I will teach you how to work with workplace bullies. Then you learn how to become more bold and assertive. A lot of people in corporate space are timid. That's why they're not getting results. They're too afraid to boldly come out. And then I'll teach you how to ask boldly. Share your ideas with confidence without coming across as offensive, and see how your ideas are being used in the organization. And then, of course, you benefit being recommended for promotion and advancement. I'll teach you how to completely dominate the performance management process. Is it that performance management that they say it's not objective? I hope you know. In that program, I teach you how to dominate the performance management process such that you are in line for proper promotion and an advancement. So just to have a peep into the 3-week course module, in week 1, we talk about evolving your mindset. Just like I shared snippets, the things that you're doing that may be working against you, we talk about it in more clarity. So we start with mindset and role clarity. Is your role clear? Some of you, there are questionnaires, there are personality tests to do for you to find out if the current thing you are doing, you even know what you are doing, if it is clear enough. And if it is not, what you need to do to get clarity. We'll talk about being self-aware. This is for those of you who want to make a move into another job. We'll find out if you are truly in the right job or not. We'll talk about your workplace values and how you can align them to your career goals. I'll teach you about email etiquette, writing powerful emails that get you recognized and promoted. We'll talk about dealing with your personal work demons. We've talked about it here, but briefly, but we'll go more in depth in that course so that you're able to identify which one your own problem is and how to deal with it. And of course, I'll teach you some AI work tools that make you more productive. That's in week 1. Then in week 2, of course, we'll talk about decoding your organization, which is understanding the expectation of your organization from you, and decoding what is causing the friction between you and your company. Again, we'll talk about understanding the current or the structure that your workplace runs on. Most of you don't even know the kind of structure that your organization runs on. Who is the key decision maker? Who is the most influential person to you in your role? You will learn all those things. Then I'll teach you about the key employee policies that relate to promotion and advancement opportunities, so that when you go back, you will go to that form and you will go to the page I asked you to go to. Go and read it carefully and know how to relate with HR based on that. Then you learn how to align your expectations to the company's obligations. I'll teach you how to ask properly in the organization to get results. And of course, like I said, dominate your performance evaluation process. This was one of my participants at the first DAYWA. You can see what she said here, DAYWA was the best move I made for my career in 2023. So it's not me that is telling you now. This is an attendee of that program. I tell you, if I'm doing free webinar and I'm doing it like this, you can imagine what I would do for a paid course. So DAYWA is what you need, really, if you truly want to grow your organization. And of course, in week 3, we'll talk about different promotion and recognition paths that you can take from master. I'll teach you how to master corporate politics. You don't need to be afraid of office politics. You need to master it. I'll teach you about work ethic, the 3 relationships you must master at work. I'll teach you about time management. Of course, in more detail, discerning your boss's color, and then the power of discretion, the things you must never share at work, and how to know when to exit when you leave the organization. Now, that's not all. During the first program, they didn't get this, but you are going to get it if you sign up, because I'm also bringing in 2 freelance teachers. They've been added to the academy. So the first one is Sheyi Abiodun, who is a business consultant and certified financial education instructor. He's going to teach us about wealth building strategies for the astute corporate professional. I felt it was important that while we're talking at career advancement, let's also talk to corporate professionals about how to build wealth. So out of this, our salary we are getting, how can we use it to begin to build wealth? And Sheyi is somebody who talks to us, who talks, extensively and is very good about teaching you about the equity market, investments. So I'm talking about proper vetted investments that you can do and your mind will go to sleep, So I thought that was important to also learn. Oh, Oneku is here too. Shina is here too. Oh my God, look at my alumni, highly recommended. Coach Ifoma is a guru. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So on one of our Sundays, when we have our live review session, he's going to take that class and teach us about wealth building strategies. The second person is a very personal friend of mine, whom I've known for over 25 years. Her name is Mary Iwelumo, and she's going to talk to us about getting seen by top leadership. Now, Mary is the partner. She's a PwC partner, and she heads a West African strategy team. She has worked with several multinational CEOs and government parastatals, and essentially she's going to be telling us, what do you need to do for top management to notice you? I think anybody who wants career advancement needs that, because she's talking now from a CEO's perspective, and we're going to get a lot of value. So I felt that these 2 people were the first set of people I wanted to add into the DAYWA Academy, because I want, DAYWA 1 was pilot. This one I'm more prepared, because from all the feedback from DAYWA 1, we've imputed it, and we're trying to make it better so that the experience is richer. All right. So we're going to get that. And of course, you get the other exclusive bonuses. You get job assignments every Saturday. You get a year's access to the course. So you get a year's access to the platform. Now, this program is such that, because I know we are corporate professionals, they're not always, they're pre-recorded videos. So just like you are hearing my voice like this, that's how you just click and play the one for day 1, and you hear my voice like this, so that it gives you the flexibility to listen to it whenever you have convenience. Because I don't expect to be able to gather corporate professionals for live sessions for 3 weeks. It won't work. So what I've done is to pre-record all the trainings. So at your own flexibility, and I made sure that the videos were not long. So between 8 and 15 or 20 minutes, that's all. You just listen to it, just key nuggets that tells you what to do in different areas. And then on Sunday, we now gather for a live session and we do our reviews. We talk about personal workplace problems. Everybody in the group shares. I'm available that day. That particular live session is always like 3 hours or so. We talk about what we're going through, and then we share the lessons from the class. And so it's on this Sunday that one of these Sundays that the 2 freelance people will also come on board. So of course, you get, for that period, you get 3 weeks access to me on the DAYWA community. I mean, that value alone is beyond the roof. And then you get your exclusive group Q&A career counseling session with me during the 3 weeks as well. So just like I said, different industry expert mentors. This time, 2 people are coming. So I know how much honorariums I'm paying them. These are not small people in the industry. I don't do things by halves. I want to make sure you get the best. So the value of that is even beyond the roof, but I want you to get the best. So you can see the total of everything. If I'm trying to put a cost to it, this DAYWA program is, in fact, it's over 1 million. But of course, if I tell you pay me 1 million to teach you for 3 weeks, will you not all shut down immediately now? So you're not even going to pay anything close to that. This kind of value loaded program, you'll be so shocked at about how cheap it is, just because I want to make sure that we impact as many people as possible. So to join the Dominate at Your Workplace program and discover all these workplace secrets, you only need to invest 80,000 naira. Only 80,000 naira. But you can still see there's a but, because I keep wanting to do good. I don't know why I'm like this. I am going to be offering you a one-time, not happening again price / you are only going to pay 42,500 naira for the 3-week course and access to all the freelance, 3-week access to me where you can talk to me and ask me questions. All that access, you're paying 42,500 naira, but it's going to be for a limited period, because I truly want to take the course back to 80K, because I've spent a lot in trying to make sure that the course is rich and that it's value added. So you're getting this 47% discount for the next 72 hours. After that, it goes back to 80K. That's what it is. So if you want to join the Dominate at Your Workplace Academy, you pay 42,500. Here are the details to make the payment. If you have yours now, pay it now. Don't wait. Don't begin to say, because life will happen after you see how excited you are now. Your brain is telling you this is the right thing to do. Then you close this now and go on Instagram and begin to say, and you say, this 42,000. Oh, I should use it and learn a new side hustle. That's how the world is. Other things will take your time. So this is the bank account where you pay to. Open, pay, or you pay in full. And then you send a mail to this email address with that proof of payment so that we can begin your onboarding process. There are already over 20 people who have paid, just waiting. And as you know, I'm the main person. If I want to do group counseling, there's only a limited number I can do to do it very well. So I can, for example, take 1,000 people in this kind of, when it's still just me. Do you see? So it has to be restricted to a certain number so that I can give best value. So make your payment quickly, because there are limited spots. I cannot overdo. I can't have everybody calling me. So I'm only going to take a number. Also remember that your workplace mentor is still fully in service. So I can't be too greedy. I have to make sure that the number is manageable. The last time we took 64 people. Do it and know that you've done an investment for your career this 2024. All right. Again, the details to make the payment, you can screenshot the page so that you can do it, once this program is over. So screenshot the page and make your payments as quickly as possible. Some of our corporate professionals from Ghana and a number of people have also been asking me that, how do we pay from outside of the country? Don't worry, we've got you. I don't put that on the Instagram profile because the Naira has been fluctuating so much that the exchange keeps going up and down. But as it is today, if you're paying from Ghana, you pay 650 Ghana cedis, or if you want to pay in dollars, you pay $55. So in summary, this is the final slide. Here is your timeline to career success in 2024. So you found the workplace mentor on social media. You say, what's this wealth thing? Who is this woman that is wearing bone streets? You clicked it, and then somehow you registered for this webinar and you found yourself here. And we did this webinar. You found it fantastic. You then made a decision to join the DAYWA program. You took action. You decided to invest in your own career. And then you joined the DAYWA 3-week career transformation program. And then by the time you moved to 4, you already started implementing the practical workplace secrets to success. I tell you, for the people who took the course last year, if you listen to the testimonials, they are not wishy-washy testimonials. They are things that are practicable that people were able to actually deploy in their workplaces, and it worked for them. So From March to December 2024, after the program is over, what you find out is that you become happier, you are more competent, you are clear about your career goals, you are bolder to ask for growth opportunities, or you're bold enough to make a career change. You have better relationships with your boss, you are earning more, you are learning more, you are an all-round changed person. Such that at the end of this whole journey, what I want is a new, upgraded, confident, totally in charge of your career you. This is the transformative career journey picture I want to paint for you. So I encourage you all, if you know you've got value from this free webinar, you can imagine what is coming if you actually register for the paid webinar. Don't overthink it. Most of the great decisions we make in life is not about, analysis paralysis. Just if you know it's within your ambit to do it, do it. And then I'm sure by the end of 2024, you tell yourself, what a wonderful decision I made. So again, these are the account details. This is for Ghana. Make the screenshot of it if you're paying from Ghana. And if you want to make a payment into the Nigerian bank account, this is what it is. Take action now. Send the funds. Thank you for waiting to the very, very end. You don't know how I appreciate this. I'm grateful that you are all, that shows a lot of commitment. So thank you, thank you, thank you.